All right, so here we have the bamboo strips laid out. Like I said, you should have 20. I only have a few in the screen right here. But what we need is to cut our lengths of thread to 5 times this length. A little bit longer will be fine. I think I'd rather not go short. You can always trim off extra at the end. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The one that I made earlier this week as a little test was actually 4 lengths. And I felt like it was kind of enough, but it doesn't hurt to have a little extra. So what we're going to do is start at one end. I'm going to slide most of these over and start with 1. And I'm going to wrap the thread around that bamboo strip pretty much in the center. So the 2 ends here should match up pretty well. So this is basically the center fold of the bamboo thread. And we're going to do this once across the top, about 1 inch down from the top, and once about 1 inch up from the bottom. So let's start with, I'm going to start at the top one. It doesn't really matter which one you start with because you can flip it over. It's the same difference. So I folded it over. Is everybody with me here? Yeah, not? Okay. I would usually say like thumbs up, but your hands are busy. So maybe just a nod. All right, so what we're going to do is, I'm going to exaggerate it so you can see it, but it's just a little twist. We're going to take the top one and take it down. Bottom one goes up. So it's just a little twist. That's all it is. And I'm going to set it down on the paper so that maybe the stability will help you see it. You can do it like this on paper or hold it in your hand while you do it. So 1 is down, 1 is up, and I'm going to set the next bamboo stick on top of that one that's down so that they are now wrapped around a new stick. Does that make sense? And then I'm going to do another twist. So there's no knot in between these two. It's just a twist. So the one that was up is now going down, and the one that's down is now going up. And we'll set another one down right next to it. And you'll see how the wax on the thread kind of sticks to itself in a way that holds it nice and tight. And you do want to try to keep it nice and tight. If it gets loose, you can still tighten it along the way, but with each one, try to tighten it some more. So here I have the thread that's up. I'm going to set it down. I'm going to lift the one that's on the bottom, lift it up. I'm doing this lift up and down, but it is essentially just I'll see if I can pick it up and show you guys. It is essentially just a twist. It's essentially just a twist like this in between each bamboo stick. How are you guys doing? Doing all right? Okay, yeah, it's a little weird and awkward. I know it can feel really floppy. And so you'll just tighten with each one. It might get loose again, but then you can go back and just pull those threads and tighten them. This is why sometimes I feel like laying it flat on the table, like the way I'm demonstrating it, sometimes helps me. But then I do every now and then have to pick it up and do that tightening. And it doesn't have to be super tight. In some ways, you know, making it super tight makes it kind of overlap each other. You don't want them overlapping. So again, I'm going to take the top one, put it down, take the bottom one, lift it up out of the way. Wrap those two. I'm going to go ahead and finish my 9. I don't know what happened to my sticks. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 more. So I don't even have the full 20 that you guys have. If the one that you are binding together feels really crazy, loose, and floppy, and it's just not working, just use this as a practice session. And this thread, you have plenty of extra thread. So it's really easy to unwind it and get more thread, or to just trim it off, start over again. And notice that I'm trying to keep them pretty level across the top as I put them together as well. And it should look kind of like this. A little bit still floppy down across the bottom. Does anyone have one that's fairly bound together that they could show? I don't want it to fall apart.
I feel like I'm doing it wrong.
That's looking good, Miles. Zoe, can I see what you're doing? Hold it closer to your camera because it looks okay from, oh yeah, that looks fine. That looks really good.
It's just very wobbly.
Yes, it is. It should be at this point. And the strand across the top is still wobbly. Once you put the strand across the bottom, it's a little bit easier. And that's going to be slightly different. I'm going to show you how to do that because it's going to be just a little bit harder with these already bound along this one side.
Mine keeps getting like the part that you twist, it keeps making it into like a small ball that keeps like separating them. Like they're not flat up against each other.
Oh, I think you have an extra twist in there maybe. Because if you give it like a twist all the way around, then yes, I'm going to hold this up closer so you can maybe see. Oh, then there's no light. So if you give it a little extra twist, then there's like extra thread there and there's the ball. But if you give it less twist, you guys see the difference there between that twist and this twist? So one less twist, I think.
Alrighty, I'll try that.
Yeah, and I think down the road, if you have that small ball between each one, I don't think it's going to really affect how it works. It's just better to have it consistent. So if you have that in between each bamboo strip, then keep it consistent between each one.
Do you start from the middle of the string?
Start from the middle.
Like, do you do it and can you see this? I don't know. Do you do it from there? Or do you do it from there?
I start by wrapping the middle around this one. That is
Okay.
the middle of my string, yeah, all here at the end. So as I fold it in half, and then the two strands, the two loose ends are here.
Okay.
This lighting is still not great. I still need to work on this lighting for this camera, I think. Jeremy, how's yours coming along?
Good. I can't pick it up because I'm doing it fully on the table
Yes,
and
that's.
using the table, but I only have like 3 more sticks to go.
Oh, wow, that's great. Okay. Yeah, if it's super floppy, don't pick it up. And let's see. Olivia, how's yours coming along? You can just give me a nod if you don't want to let go. Good? Okay, that's good. And let's see, Ella. Nod, shake, nod. Okay. And then let's see, Dexy.
Just kidding. I tried to pick it up and now I have more than 3 sticks to go.
Oh no, don't pick it up. Dexy's good. Okay, I got a thumbs up. The thread keeps trying to slip off the edge. You mean the edge, like the top edge right here? Are you too far up the top? Yep. All right, you can slide it down a little bit further down. And let's see, Ari, I haven't heard from you. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah? All right,
Yeah.
you're just feeling like it's coming together?
Something like that.
Okay. I'm wondering too, after we put this top half on, or the top strand, and then we put the second strand on, maybe the stabilizing second strand will help, and you can redo this top one if you're not happy with it. But when you get to the end, I do want to talk to you about the knot. I mean, it's a basic square knot, but I want to make sure that you know how to tie a square knot so it doesn't come apart. Does anybody know the little, it's like righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but it's for the square knot? What do I usually say? Right over left, left over right. That's what I usually say. Just to make sure it doesn't slip. Do I have anyone who's finished? No.
I'm about to put my last one on.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to rush you. If you are nowhere near finished, don't worry. I might have you stop for a minute and watch, but you can keep working on this.
I just attached my last stick.
Okay. And you have, like, here, it's loose. It's still loose, right?
Yeah.
All right, we can do our square knot together. I'll wait till maybe we have one or two more join us. Ooh, Olivia has, whoa, you're holding up the whole thing. Jeremy has yours. Olivia was so brave and waved the whole thing up in the air. I don't have as many either, so I'm not even that brave. That's good. It looks like we're making xylophones. Yay! Nice, that looks good. I think this thread really makes a big difference. I've tried it before with regular thread, and it definitely all falls apart with just regular thread. Could do an extra step with that. Oh, you know what? While you guys are working, I'll tell you about that extra step. Let me see. I'm going to go pull out the example that I had before. So this is the one that I have that I purchased from a market in Taiwan. And I noticed that, well, it might be a little bit hard to see, but this will be in that library. You guys can look at it in your hand. But there's a little groove that's actually cut into the bamboo on this side that helps hold the thread in place. I don't know if you guys can see it. But if you want to make one that's sturdy, you could probably take like a little knife or a file and file a little groove that helps hold the thread in place. You can see it on this side. Not so much, but it is just a little groove. And I thought about doing that, but I don't think ours really needs it. If it's something that's handled a lot more like this one, you might want to do that. It's right here. All right, so I'm going to have everybody stop what you're doing. Let's tie a knot at the end. And I'm going to, I'll see if I can do it in a way that you can see it in the camera, but I'll exaggerate it a bit. So basically when you tie a square knot, you have two strands. The first time you put the right over the left, or one or the other. Put one over the other, right over left is the way I do it, and then loop it underneath, and then tie it together. It's like when you're about to tie your shoelaces. And I like to try to keep the knot on this edge rather than on top, because this is going to help with the rolling afterwards. And then the second round, you go the opposite, left over right. So this time we're going left over right and then tuck it under. So right over left, left over right. If you do it the other way, it's actually something else. It's like it's almost called like a granny knot. I don't know if you guys, any of you are weavers or sailors. Sailors would know. I think it's a granny knot, and that has a tendency to slip. But doing it right over left, left over right makes it really nice and secure so that it doesn't slip, and that's called a square knot. All right, so now we have that part. Let's cut another length of thread, the same length as that one, 5 widths. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the bottom row, we're going to start the same way. Find the center point of your thread. So I'm going to line these two ends up and find the center on this side. And I'm going to loop that center around. that first bamboo. Now, this is something that I found makes it a little bit easier for me. I'm going to scoot over a little bit. Because what I found really helpful was to slide this whole thing off the end of my table. I'm going to bring the camera with me. Let's see. Bring it over here. I'll bring this camera forward. And I need to bring the light forward as well. So what I'm going to do is take these ends and stick it off the edge of my table, edge right here. You can still see that. And that helps me do those kind of loopy things. And I'm going to do the same thing. It's basically just a twist. And then this thread can now go underneath the one next to it. And I just kind of tuck it under. And again, twist. The bottom one comes up. The top one goes down. Wrap around the next bamboo strand, bamboo slip. I hope you guys can see this okay. Twist. Move the camera up a little bit. And then when you reach the end of this bottom row, you'll do the same square knot at the end. Right over left, left over right. And then it is surprisingly very sturdy. And you can pick them up and they won't fall apart at all. You create a nice little scroll. Oh, I'm seeing some nice scrolls coming out. Look at that. We've got scrolls. Yes. So watch this. This is one of the reasons why you have that extra strand at the end, the extra thread. That's what you wrap around to hold it together. And that helps to hold the whole scroll together. And if you like to, I know there are some cases where you might see like beads or like a coin or a little disc or something down at the end. And that kind of just helps keep it sturdy as well. I'm going to slide my camera back. Move this back. When we get to a good stopping point, there's one more thing I want to show you guys. There's one more finishing touch, because I know a few of you have mentioned how you're interested in script that is going into some of these historic bindings. So we're going to do some writing on these. Oh, that looks good, Olivia. Very nice. Let's see. Alice, how's it going over in your world? Anything?
Still doing the first row.
Okay, no problem. And Bexy, how did yours come out?
I did it, and I'm gonna have to redo it when I can like focus. So
I'm gonna take this out for just a second. Yeah, I get that. This happens a lot even in like the bookbinding studio. If we're all like in a group in the room together and working, some people kind of thrive in that atmosphere, and some people it's like, for me, I was the same way. It's too distracting and nothing worked right, and I just couldn't do it. So hopefully this recording will be helpful for you too. And of course, for any of you who think you might want to try this again, these bamboo strips are basically just like craft materials. I got these through a company, I think it's like a basket weaving company. I don't really remember. It was like for different crafts. Most of what we use in bookbinding are for different crafts. Like this thread is actually from a basket weaving company. And then there's like leather working tools and upholstery tools that we use. Ella, how's yours coming along? Nice, coming along pretty good. And Zoe, did you finish your top row?
Yeah, I did. I'm working on the bottom row now. I just started it.
Okay, great. Sophie, how's yours? I haven't seen yours yet. Oh, looks good. I think I did see you hold yours up. And Haley, I think I saw you hold yours up for a minute. How's yours coming along?
I keep getting the little balls in between the things, so I'm doing the twists wrong. I keep forgetting to do them right, so I just keep restarting.
Got it. I'd be interested to see if, for those of you who are getting those little balls, if you just kept doing that all the way down, if that would really, I don't know how that would affect the structure of it. Maybe I'll try to make one like that next and see how it feels. But it is basically just that extra twist. And let's see, who else? Ari, how's yours looking?
It's looking good.
Good. Feel structural sound, some structural soundness there, holding together. So for those of you who are not finished, I'm gonna just have you pause for a minute. You can come back and keep working on it. But what I'd like to do is to take us to a video about scripts. So let me show you. I'm gonna put this camera back on and show you some of my attempts at some, and this is just contemporary Chinese script. In the scroll slideshow, there are some historical scripts, and this is just contemporary Chinese script that I added to mine. And I found a little video that's just a calligrapher writing, and we can just sort of emulate his writing. So the interesting thing about Chinese script is, oh, here's an example of the brush. Let's see. So these top two are the brush pen, which literally has like a brushy looking tip. It's a pen. It's like a writing pen, but it has a brush tip. And I had a really hard time with it. And then the rest of them are just with technical pen. This is a Staedtler. And in this video we're about to watch, he actually shows you exactly what kind of pen he's using. And it looks almost like a roller ball kind of pen, like a, what brand? This is a Micron brush. It's very nice for art work. I mean, I have a hard time with it. I have friends who do a really good job with this. I don't. Let's see. Why doesn't it say Micron on there anywhere? Maybe it's been rubbed off, but usually it would say Micron. So there are a few characters that he shows. The interesting thing about Chinese characters is that there are very specific strokes that make up a Chinese character. There's like these cross strokes and down strokes, and they're usually done in a very specific order, and that helps to create a character that looks more correct in a way. And so what I would like to do is watch this video, and I'm going to ask you to fill up at least 3 of these slips by just copying the way this calligrapher in the video writes his. Mine are terrible. I'm so embarrassed, but I did my best. So there are going to be a few examples of single words. Like these are single words that I just attempted a few times. Like I just wanted to practice them. And then there are a few later on where there are phrases. So this is like a phrase. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's 3 characters in this phrase. And I wrote it again. So I repeated them on multiple strips just because I wanted to practice it and see what it was like. But you can just try whatever you want, at least 3 strips. And if you want to keep going with yours, go right ahead. This put together means nothing. It's absolutely gibberish because it's just me practicing writing. So we're not putting like any sort of a story or a poem or anything on here unless you want to do some of your own research for a Chinese poem and then recreate it on this. That is perfectly fine. For me, it's just getting the feel of how the characters are written and what it might have been like for a scribe to have filled up like one whole bamboo strip with a row of characters, and just to practice making those marks. So what I'm going to do is take this camera off, and I think I'll have to I'll share my screen. And if you guys want to practice this on paper first, that probably would be fine too. So what I'm presenting right now is just our Moodle. So here's our pointer, there it is. Here's our Chinese bamboo scroll section. This is the slideshow I showed in class. And this is just a short reading. This is sort of a bonus if you're interested in reading more about them and learning more about them. Also a bonus, this is the one that I told you about where there's a woman who's actually carving into the bamboo, and he's obviously a tourist who's just like super excited about watching her do this work, and he sort of talks over the whole video. And then this is the video. This is kind of a really good one of a man making this bamboo scroll in exactly the same way that we just did here, but it's in Chinese. I mean, it's in Japanese. So I'm sorry, I cannot find an English one. It's kind of it's a 11 minute video, and there's like just one small section where he's actually doing this binding, and part of it he's really just talking about it. And then what we're going to watch is this video, How to Write Chinese for Beginners, just a 4-minute little video. I don't know if we'll even watch the whole thing, but you can always go back and finish as you're writing. Like, I feel like it's really helpful to write while he's writing, to sort of copy those strokes. And like I said, to make the characters look right, it really does matter that these strokes are put down in the correct order and direction. So you don't want to just make a bunch of really random marks. I'm going to take that out. The interesting thing about he and she in Chinese, written, it looks a little bit different, but spoken, they're both pronounced ta. So it's kind of like, it seems it's very like a genderless kind of pronoun, which is interesting. And that's why in some cases, like my mom, who's Chinese, she had a really hard time differentiating between he and she still does, because she's just not used to doing that in spoken Chinese. So here we have some phrases. We started with some single characters. That was 早上好, good morning. This is 你好. It's like a hello, or really, how are you? Oh, 下午好, good afternoon. So notice that he's writing in these squares. This is sort of a standard calligraphy paper for practicing writing Chinese characters because they tend to all fit perfectly into a square format. He is writing across from left to right. And of course, you're just going to transpose that and write instead of across your bamboo strip. write down. So it should be up and down, but each character should be one above each other. 晚上好, good evening. This guy's calligraphy, by the way, is amazing. Like, it's just so beautiful. And it's not like artistic calligraphy with a brush. It's just very technically nice. One and right. It makes it look so easy. Now we're getting into a slightly more complex character. It's just, yeah. It really fills out that whole square. So that's two characters, 谢谢. This might be, this is, I think, the last one. I'm sorry. I think that's the last one. Yep.
Which one?
I'm going to come back to our screen and show this one more time that it is, let's see, maybe this one you can see most clearly. I'm going to bring a light over. So I'm writing it down. So this is 谢谢. And that last one. 对不起. So it's like writing down instead of a cross like he had in his video. Is the light completely washing this out? To me, it just looks like a white stick. It kind of is. Okay. I don't know if you can see that.
Try putting a dark covered book behind it.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see. I have a piece of cardboard. Does that help? Yeah. Hold up a few more. So this is just, you know, write the ones that you want to write. Leave the ones you don't want to. Play around as much. I really just need to see like three practice strips. Have fun with it. You can choose one character and write it 15 times if you want to. Just try that. Or you can try multiple characters. Any questions? All right, so when you finish with this project, take a photo of those characters that you've written, but also like just a, let's see, let's say a wide shot of the whole scroll, and then how about one more of it rolled up where you can see the roll. This is the weird thing about grading an object like this. Like I need to see it in like different ways so I get a sense of how it really looks. It's not the same as just grading like a drawing or a print. Honestly, I don't even remember when this is due. Is this due next Tuesday? Alice just finished it. Woohoo! Yay! I think I'm gonna go check and see. I think it's due next Tuesday. Is that right? Does anybody know when this is due? Oh, I don't even have the I don't even have the assignment posted in Moodle. So let's say this is due next Tuesday. I'll post it tonight before I go. So you have the weekend, but you know, you guys will be totally done before the night is over, I'm sure. Just got mine halfway through the video. Yay! I'm going to show you one last thing before we go. On Moodle, we are moving next week into Egyptian papyrus scrolls. I would like to be able to have a discussion about this reading. Here we go. Right underneath Chinese bamboo scrolls, we're moving into Egyptian papyrus scrolls. I posted this reading and then a reading response. And again, I did not put the date due on there. That would be helpful. I think it's going to be in a week. Yeah. So a week from today, I'd like to have a discussion about this reading. because we're going to kind of start on it next week. But before we really start getting into it, I would like for you to do this reading. It's a really good reading. There's some interesting stories in it. And after that, we have a break day. So there's a day when we're not actually meeting right after we do this reading response. So it's like a week and a half from today. So that's why I want to discuss this first before we take that whole week break and have you guys working on these scrolls afterwards. All right, so coming back to you guys. Are there any questions about, oh, I see something in the chat. The biggest struggle is holding it down as you're twisting the string. Yes, everything wants to move. Yes, yeah, I had the same struggle. So everything wants to move because they're all together, but then they all come apart, but you want to keep them together, but you kind of need them apart. And yeah, really would help to have like an extra hand. But it takes a little, yeah, a little practice, and it gets easier. It starts to kind of come together. Anything else? Anybody else have one that can hold up to show us? Once you get the top row, yes. Yay! Zoe has it. Oh yeah, everybody hold up your scroll. We're done. So many of them are done. Looks good. Yeah, the bottom. Haley, that's a beautiful scroll. Yeah, once you get the bottom, get the top one, it helps hold it all together, right? So that's what I was thinking. If you did the top one and it's a big mess and it's loose, do the bottom and then maybe undo the top, and you can go back and do the top again, because, you know, having one side held together can be pretty helpful. All right, you guys, are there any other questions or comments about this?
I don't know if you noticed, but Haley messaged in the chat, do you know Chinese?
Oh, I did not see that. I do know Chinese, a little bit, very basic spoken Chinese. I actually, Chinese is actually my first language, Mandarin Chinese. Yeah, I grew up in Taiwan. It's not very good now because I moved here when I was a kid, but yes. So by writing though, that's why I'm so embarrassed. Like I would never, like I wouldn't want my mom to see this because it's like embarrassingly bad, because it looks like a little kid's writing, because that's basically when I stopped learning Chinese. So this looks like a second grader, basically. That's as good as I got. Anything else? Are we good? I hope you guys have a good night. I'll see you next week. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.